The internet, especially Reddit, is replete with stories of how serotonin syndrome ruined the lives of several people. A Reddit user recently released from hospital after having a life-threatening case of serotonin syndrome wrote, "On Monday night I had taken my antidepressant and tramadol, both prescribed. Then after an hour I started having crazy tremors in my head, hands, and feet, then blurred vision, vomiting and falling over. After several hours of this, it calmed down enough for me to hold a phone to call an ambulance. Initially, the doctor in the emergency department was a complete novice to me. He thought I had taken an overdose of cocaine or MDMA and was lying about it. He said, 'Look, the sooner you tell us what you've taken, the sooner we can treat you.' I was having a hard time even talking, the convulsions were so bad, and just said, 'I told you already. Tramadol and my antidepressant.' By this stage, I had been convulsing for about 7 hours. At about 6 in the morning, the nurse said I suddenly stopped shaking, collapsed like a ragdoll, and my eyes rolled up into my head and was barely breathing. All I remember of this was having crazy hallucinations. Eventually, a more experienced doctor came in and was able to diagnose me with serotonin syndrome. My meds had had a rare combined reaction that had built up for several months to the point where my brain had suddenly dumped a life-threatening amount of serotonin into my system. I finally woke up this afternoon after having my system flushed out with inline fluids and was sent home. So I have no memory after passing out until a few hours ago. I'm doing this video so people can be aware of serotonin syndrome, as it often goes misdiagnosed and can be fatal. The only reason I even went into the hospital was that when I started convulsing at home, I decided to do a cross-check online of the possible dangers regarding various combinations of the medications I was on, and saw that my symptoms matched SS and the medications I was on. When I told this to the first doctor, he did that look that says, "Oh great, another patient who's looked up their symptoms online and thinks they know everything." But the second doctor said it was a good call. If I hadn't done that research, I would have passed it off as a virus, or having eaten something dodgy, and would have very likely been dead by now. I might be a little slow in answering since I am totally wiped out still from all the convulsions, and my brain's a little spaced out. The tramadol was from a prescription a few months previous to when I started taking SSRIs, and I'm also on a long-term codeine prescription, which had started off the serotonin build-up over several days. The single tramadol tablet brought it on to full serotonin syndrome, but the doc said it only brought it on faster. It wasn't the cause, only a catalyst. He said single tramadol isn't enough to cause serotonin syndrome. It was most likely caused by long-term codeine use, which is a much rarer cause. Still, never mix your medicines, folks, he concluded. Cases of serotonin syndrome resulting in hospitalization or death are rare. Most cases do not require medication intervention, but can be managed by stopping the drug or decreasing the dose. Mild toxicity appears to be rare but is likely underreported, unrecognized, or confused with other syndromes. Thank you for watching this medication safety video. You can support the global campaign on medication safety by hitting the subscribe button.